Hello everyone, good evening.
Good evening, ma'am.
Let me just share my screen. Let me know, class, if you can see my screen.
Yeah, ma'am.
Thank you. So class, the topic for today's web development session is effects in HTML. So today I'll be covering some of the most popular tags used in HTML, and then followed by parallax effect, and then how do we add emojis in our program. And talking about myself, my name is Rimjim, and I work as a cloud and infrastructure engineer at Larsen and Turbo. So let's move ahead with the agenda for today. So yeah, as I told you, I'll be talking about some of the most popular tags in HTML. So I'll tell you how do we embed different kind of documents, or how do we embed videos, or what are the different tags in HTML. Then parallax effects I'll teach you, and then how do we add emojis in an HTML program. So let's move ahead. So the first tag for today is iframe tag. And in class, if you have any doubts in between, so you can stop me anytime, and then if you want my pace to go a bit faster or slower, or if you have any doubts or queries, you can always stop me so that I can clear that doubt then and there. So talking about the first tag is iframe tag. So iframe is a short form for inline frame, and is a powerful element in a web designing. So, and then the HTML iframe tag specifies an inline frame, and an inline frame is used to embed another document within the current HTML document. Okay, so let's just move ahead seeing the syntax of iframe tag. So whenever we are using any kind of tag in HTML, so we'll have an opening tag and we'll have an closing tag. So similarly here in iframe, I have an opening iframe tag and then a closing iframe tag, and in between what do we have is, like, for example, if you want to embed any kind of images, so for that we always use Src attributes. Src specifies the path of the element. Okay, so here in, for example, I'll show you how do we embed a video here. So for example, if I go and I want to embed a YouTube video, okay? So this is the YouTube video which I want to embed. So how do I do it? So I have to go down, and then wherein I have the share button, I have to click on the share button, and then there would be an embed option. So I have to click on the embed option here, and then I have to copy this particular entire path. Okay, so I'll copy this entire path and then I'll paste it here. I'll show you, like, whenever I'm running this particular program. So in place of Src, I have to specify this particular URL which I've pasted from YouTube right now. And for example, if you want to, for example, embed a website, so you have to copy the path of that particular website, and then you can copy here, and then like, you can just specify the height, width, or what is the styling which you are giving for your um, frame. Okay, so similarly you can add, or you can just include n number of YouTube videos in your program, or n number of, you can embed websites in your program depending on the copyright which they are having. So for example, if I want to include this particular YouTube video, and then while running it, if I'm not getting any kind of output, so like the reason why I would not be getting it is because that video is having some kind of copyrights in it. Or for example, if you try to embed any kind of websites, maybe Flipkart, Mintra, or any kind of website, if you want to embed, and for example, while embedding it, while running the program, while writing the program will not be able to come, like, what would be the outcome be. So while running it, if you're not seeing any kind of outcome, or if you're not seeing any kind of video in your web page, so you should assume that this particular website or this particular YouTube video is having some kind of copyright in it, and maybe you would, like, we won't be able to embed it. Okay, so yeah, this is all about iframe tag. After completing this entire presentation, I'll show you the practicals of how do I embed some documents. Okay, so let's move ahead with another tag for today. So the next tag is OL and UL tag. So like, OL defines an ordered list, and UL defines an unordered list. Okay, and to maintain my list, like here whenever I'm writing an OL and UL program, so I'll be using three different tags. First is OL tag, second is UL tag, and to maintain my list, I'll be using LI tag. Okay, so an ordered list can be numerical or alphabetical. So the LI tag is used to define each item list. For unordered list, we use UL tag, and for ordered list we use OL tag, as I told you, and herein I'm using LI tag to maintain the list which I'm maintaining. So for example, if I go here in this section, so this is like, all this is an example of UL So this is an unordered list. For example, I can have a bullet, or I can have this checkboxes in unordered list. Okay, and in ordered list, for example, if I'm having an alphabetical order or 1 2 3, if I'm maintaining, so this is an ordered list. Okay, and then here in the tags which I'll be using is ol, ul, and li. So this is the basic tag which everyone knows in HTML. So let's just move ahead. So the next tag for today is the di tag. So what the di tag is do, it is mainly to maintain a description list. And how does that list looks like? So for example, here in my agenda was to make sure that my list is in a numerical form, or for example, if my list is in a dotted form, or in that format. So for example, whenever in HTML, if I want to mention my content in this order, so for example, I have an header, and if I want to show my subheader in this format, for example, I have how I have mentioned your HTML effects and then Rimchim Kumari. So in this, if you want to write like in our web page, so in a web page we can do it using paragraph tag also, but it is better always to use what do we say, to use di description list tag. So here in description list, I'll use 3 tags. One is dt tag, which defines my description list, similar to OLUL, where I was using li tag to maintain my list. So herein also I'll be use dl tag to define my description list, and then I'll be using dt tag, which will define the name or term in my description list, and then I'll be having dd tag, which describes each term in my element. So for example, like whenever when I run my program, you would come to know like how my outcome looks like. So for example, I'll be having coffee, and then below that I can have sugar or something like this. To maintain a list in this kind of order, I'll be using dl di dt. Okay. So the next topic for the next HTML effect is parallax effect. So what is this parallax effect is? So for example, any kind of this effect is mostly known by the name as scrolling effect. So for example, if we have an image, and if you're having a content written to it, and if you're scrolling it, okay, so this scrolling effect is called as a parallax effect. Okay, so the parallax scrolling is a website trend where the background content, that is an image, is moved at a different speed of the foreground content while scrolling. And then if I want to have a scrolling effect in my program, wherein I'm having a background image, and then I'm having a content, so to maintain that kind of order, I'll be using this 4 syntaxes in my program. Okay, so like while writing a scrolling trend program, or if while writing a parallax effect program, I have to make sure that I'm having these 4 values. So the first value is of background size. Okay, so like in background size, I have to make sure that I have passed the parameter which is having, for example, if I want my background size to be auto, or I want it to cover my entire page, so I'll be having cover, or contain if I want to have, or length. So I can just provide any of the 4, any like among any of them, one particular parameter. So for example, I want it as length, so I can pass only length, background size, length. Okay, so and the next value which we have to make sure is background repeat. So repeat is mainly like we have x-axis, and then we have y-axis, and then we have x-axis. So like how do I want to repeat? Either it's like only repeat value I can provide, wherein I'll have a scrolling effect, and then even if I want to have a scrolling effect from x-axis, so I can just pass this x-axis value, and then if I want to repeat from my y-axis, like this, how this scrolling is working, this is y-axis scrolling, and then if I have it from bottom, so it is x-axis scrolling. Okay, so if I want like this, or if I do not want any kind of scrolling, so I'll pass it as no repeat. Okay, and then if I want my attachment to be scrolled, fixed, or local, so I can pass any of these values, scroll, fixed, or local. And then if I want my background position, so I can position my value also, so I can put in here any kind of value which I want, for example 368 pixels, or any kind of position to my any kind of value to my position. Okay, hope this is clear, class. You all like in parallax effect, it's not a big thing which you have to make sure, or if you want to remember. The only thing in my program is like everything would remain constant. Like you just have to provide the source path of the image, which is there, the content which we are keeping, and these are the 4 values which are important while writing a parallax program. Okay, I'll just paste in this meeting chat. So this is the only 4 values which we have to remember while writing any kind of parallax program or scrolling effect program. Like first is background size, background repeat, background attachment, and then background position. Once we are once we are fixed on this part, then everything would just remain normal, like normal HTML program. Okay. So let's move ahead. And then the next topic is like how do we add emojis in HTML. Okay, so like while texting we see emojis, right? So if you want to embed all those emojis, like how do we do it? So every emoji in HTML has an value, UTF values attached to it. Like how do we have ASCII characters? I hope everybody is aware of ASCII characters. Class, anyone is aware of what is ASCII all about, or what are the values for uppercase and lowercase?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so well and good, that would be easy for us to write. So for example, class, let me just write. So for example, if I want to print A to Z, like lowercase A to Z, so the value for lowercase A to Z is 97, I guess, 97 to 122. Yeah, and then for uppercase A to Z is, it is 65 to 90. Yeah, 65 to 90. So if you want to print any kind of values from this case, like how do we print? So like I'll be using this letters, like we do not, like if you want to print A to Z, we do not write it. Mainly like computer understands ASCII characters only, so we have to use this ASCII characters. So if I want to print an uppercase A to Z, so in that case I'll be using 65 to 90, and then if I want to print lowercase, I'll be using 97 to 122. Okay, so similar to that, we have emojis. Emojis also have some UTF characters associated with it. And then what is UTF is? UTF is Unicode Transformation Format. And then the current version which we're having is UTF-8. We also have UTF 7, 8, 16, 32, depending on the versions which come out from. Yeah. So emojis are characters from UTF-8 character set. Emojis look like images, all those things. UTF-8 covers almost all the world characters and symbols in this world. So whatever emojis we see in our WhatsApp or Instagram or anything, so every emojis has an UTF character set associated with. So for example, a smiley emojis had 128512, and if I want to print this particular emoji in my HTML program, I have to use it preceded by ampersand and hash symbol. Okay, so I have to use an ampersand and a hash symbol with the UTF value associated with it. So for example, if I want to print all these characters, for example, if I want to print A to Z, or if I want to print lowercase A to Z, so I have to use this values preceded by ampersand and then hash. Okay, so let's just like this is it with the presentation part for today's session, and then now I'll try running some programs to make the concepts more clearer. Okay, so let me just open a notepad, or let me just open a new image code, and then I'll remove things from there. So like this program mainly, which I'll be like, first I'll begin with the emojis part. Like let's just write programs displaying uppercase lowercase values, and then we'll move ahead with writing some emojis program, and then let's just see. So this program is mainly for ASCII values. Okay, I don't know, there's some issues with my keyboard, but no worries, let's move ahead. So like whenever I'm writing any kind of HTML program, like the first thing which we write mainly is doctype element. Okay, doctype HTML. So this, like the reason why we're writing this is like this tag specifies that this particular document is an HTML document, and this is the root element of my this particular page which I'm writing. Okay, and then we have HTML tag, opening HTML tag, and a closing HTML tag, as I told you in the very beginning, for any kind of tags. Yeah, hello? Any doubts, class? So in HTML, like any kind of programs we are writing in, any kind of tags which we're writing in, so we'll have an opening tag and then we'll have a closing tag. So similarly, I'll we'll have an opening tag, opening body tag, and a closing body tag. Okay, so let me just close this HTML tag, and then in between in the body section of my program, we write in our main agenda or the main content of our program. Okay, so this is mainly to display ASCII values. Okay, so what I'll do is let's just use a paragraph tag first. So inside my paragraph tag, what I'll write it, I'll display, let's say caps lock ABC. Okay, and then I'll close my paragraph tag. And then in the next paragraph tag I'll write I will display, and then as I told you, to display any kind of alphanumeric alpha characters, what do we use is we'll use ampersand hash symbol followed by the character. So for example, for A I'll have 65, so I'll use 65 and then a semicolon, and then I just copy this, and then to separate two values I will use semicolon. Okay, so 65, 66 and then 67 to display, and then 67. Okay, and then let's just run this program. Image underscore code I have saved it with. Okay, and I haven't ended my paragraph tag, so I'll end my paragraph tag also. Control S, and then let's just go to the program and then run it. So yeah, like here in the second statement, the values which I have passed were 65, 66 and then 67, and then if you can see, we're getting output as ABC. Okay, and then let's just do this also, smaller a, smaller b, and then smaller c. So the values for smaller a, smaller b, smaller c was 97, 97, 98 and 99. Okay, so 98 and 99. Make sure class that you all are like you have remembered this particular values, because if you'll go in interviews they'll ask all these things. What is UTF-8 characters, what are the versions for UTF-8, and then what are the ASCII values A to Z, all these things. Okay, how do we separate what is an ampersand value? So we're done, and then let's just try printing an emoji also. So what is the value here? 128512. Okay, 128512. Where is my program? 128512. Okay, so 128512 was the value for that particular emoji, and then I can copy this number and then I can put it here. Then I can put the number here, and then let's just put some number, random number, 17. Let's just put here 10, and then let's just put here any random number, 16. Okay, so let's just save it and then try running it. What do we see? Yeah, so if you can see, like if we just know one particular series, so for example, if we know this particular series 12851 or 1285, so we can just replace the end numbers and then do a hit and case thing, like how does my output gets printed. Okay, I hope this is clear class for everyone as of now.
Yeah, ma'am.
Where is this? Yeah, so like let's just write this particular program of how do we use iframe tag. Okay, so let me just remove this thing, and then let me just change this iframe. Iframe example. Okay, so herein, as I told you, I'll be the thing which I'll be doing next is I'll go to the Src part, or I'll go to the source path where my video resides in. So this is the path where my video was residing, so I'll copy this particular this entire thing. Okay, this entire path for inline frame. Okay, I'll go to my notepad wherein I want to embed this video. So this was the first video which I wanted to embed, and then I want to embed it second time. So let's just do it for the second time also. And so if you can see class, the value which is being embedded here is like, this is my opening iframe tag which I've used, and then the width and height which I've given to my video was 315 is my height, width is my 560, so I can just pass any value here. Okay, maybe I can just have 500. Okay, I can give any kind of height to my video, and then this is the source path of my video. So this is the source path of particular video. So the reason class, like if we see any kind of program, the reason why I'm using your iframe tag and not the src tag, so how it would be. So for example, if I use an src tag or if I use an href tag, so everybody is aware of how do we use hyperlinks, right? Class, are we aware?
Yeah, ma'am.
So if you're using hyperlink, what happens is like it would just give me a link or a blue thing, okay, and if I click on that link, it would redirect me to that particular YouTube video. But herein I want that particular YouTube video in a, like, how do we say, I want my particular YouTube video in this format. Like I want the video and then I want to click on the hit button, I want to play, pause, etc. on my web page. So in that case I have to use iframe tag. Okay, we can also use like src attribute, or we can use href tag, like in a hyperlink form, but that is not meeting our intention here. We want our, in our html page, the video in this format only. So to achieve that, I'll be using iframe tag. Okay, so let's just save it and run it. Okay, so if you can see, like we have two YouTube videos, and then I can click here play.
Hey, what's up everybody, and welcome back to my channel. Hey, what's up everybody, and welcome back to my channel.
And then we can play, we can pause, we can just define the height, width, and in a similar way we can embed HTML web pages also. Like for example, we have a Flipkart page. If that particular web page is not having any kind of what do we say? If that particular page is not having any kind of restrictions or any kind of copyrights to it, so we can just embed that particular videos or that particular web pages very easily. So some particular YouTube videos has some sensitive content, or it has some copyright, so in that case we'll not be able to do it. Okay, so this is how, so in similar way we can just embed any kind of videos here. So if I want to embed it again, I can have I can just have it n number of times. Save it, and then we can see here. Yeah, and then this is how it goes. We can just, the reason and advantage of using iframe is like we get this kind of view on our web pages for this type of videos, for this kind of view. We can use hyperlinks, but that would only give me a link, not entire video, and then we cannot play, pause, and all those things. Okay, and then let's just move ahead with a different another tag which I covered in the presentation. So the next tag which I'll cover is the OL in the UL tag. Okay, so let me just change the header part. OL, UL, and LI. Okay, so like how I'll write is, so let's say this is in UL tag. So first I'll use UL tag here, and then inside my UL tag I'll try to maintain my list. Okay, so inside my list maybe I can say mango mainly class, and here also we have another alternative. So for example, like I can use here paragraph tag also. Okay, I can pass here paragraph tag, and then I can just write. But the reason why we're not doing is like in HTML also, like we have to maintain a particular structure, or if you want to maintain a particular sync to my program so that it's easily understandable to people. So that's why we do not use paragraph tag, and then we go for certain tags only. Okay. Instead of and then let's just end my UL tag /UL, and then the next thing is OL. I'll use a p tag, a header tag first, and then I'll write here ordered list. And then since this is an OL tag, so OL tag, and then I'll copy this entire list again. I'm not right. And then let's just end our OL tag /OL. And then we are done. Yeah, this is how it looks. This is my unordered list, and this is my ordered list, how I'm displaying here. I hope this is clear class for everyone.
Yes, ma'am.
So let me just so the next program is this, how do we display Dd, Dt, and Dd elements. Okay, so if I want to have for example, so let me just change the header also, DL, Dd, and Dt tag. Okay, so let's just have DL distribution list first. Okay, so DL tag would come first, and then, for example, I want to give my first specification as DT. Okay, and then I want to write here web development. Okay, web development, and then let's just end the DT tag. And then inside I want DD specification, data specification, and then let's just give effects in HTML how I showed you. In HTML /DD. This is a data description which I have provided, and then again let's just give a DD specifying the date for today. Okay, so the date is let's say 21 June. Yeah. So this is how, like, this is my main header which I have given web development, and these are the subheaders which I have given. So to give a header we have to use DT tag. So DT tag mainly is for the header part, and the definition which I want to give to my header I'll be using DD tag. Okay, and then to maintain the lists I had used DL tag. Okay, so I will close this also, save it, and then I just refresh it. So yeah, this is the web development section, which was the header which I used for which I used DT tag, and then in the bottom I had used DT tag to maintain my description. Okay, and then it is describing me the first element which I have mentioned. If I want to have this kind of view, I have to use DL, DD, and DT tags. Okay, and yeah, and the next tag is Parallax Effect. So let me just open the program for Parallax Effect. I have written it, so let's just not waste time writing it already. So yeah, so herein, as I told you, what the main thing in Parallax is mainly class, like to write the positions, or to write the values, or to maintain the syntax which I have mentioned in the chat which I have given you. Okay, so this is mainly a CSS value which I have used, and then I'll teach you CSS in the upcoming sessions. And for those of them for those of whom who have already covered my HTML and CSS sessions, they know how do we declare inline and external and then internal CSS. So this is like how I have declared a CSS, and then dot parallax is the CSS name which I have given, and then inside my CSS name, the value which I have passed is background image, and then this is the image. And then always class, whenever you're running a Parallax program, make sure that the program and the image relies in the same folder. Okay, so for example, herein you can see, like, this is the image and this is the program which I'm having. Both of them relies in the same folder, which is effects in HTML. So if you're running the program and the program is different and then the image is in a different folder, the program would not run. So this is the first requirement which we have to make sure. Okay, so like this is the URL which I have given to, this is the image path. Okay, and then the height of my image I have given 500 pixels. Okay, and then these are the 4 values which I told you is important. So background attachment I have given it as fixed. So background attachment here, so I can have it as scroll, fixed, or local. Okay, from these 3 I can have any of them. So I have given fixed value. Background position I have given center. So similarly, I can have position, for example, herein I was telling you, so center, left, right, or any specific value I can mention accordingly. Okay, and then background repeat. In repeat I have given no repeat, and then in the background size I have given cover. So we have cover contain, where is it, background size. So we can have cover, content, length, and auto, any of the 4 values which is there in the parameters. Okay, so as I told you, like, to have a Parallax program, it sounds a bit what do we say, it sounds a bit difficult, or I don't know, but if we know this particular values, and then we can just write the program very simply. Okay, so these are the values which I had put in, and then I have ended my CSS. And then inside my CSS, what I am inside the body section of my program, what I'm doing is I'm calling my class which I have written here. So this is the description which I have given to Parallax class. Okay, and then I have called my class here. Similar, like how do we have in C++? We just describe a function and then we call a function anywhere in my program. So I have called my function and then I have styled the this particular, what do we say, hide background color and all those things. So this is the styling which I have done, and this is also a CSS element which you would come to know when I'm covering HTML and CSS program. Okay, so let me just run this particular program. So if you can see this is the image which I was having. Okay, so like I can just scroll. So this is a scrolling effect which is mainly called a parallax effect. So if you have a scrolling effect in our programs, and then I have an image, and then I have a content, and then I have, this is the background color which the styling which I have given, and then all those things. So this is a parallax effect program. Like I'm scrolling up and down. So this is what happens when we're using parallax programs. Okay, we have a document, we have a back cover, and then among, like on top of my cover, I have a scrolling effect to my program. Okay, and to write a parallax program, we only have to make sure that we have all these things in place. Okay, and then for those of you who are not aware of this, how do we write a CSS element, and then how do we declare a CSS element, how do we style it? So I'll be covering in upcoming sessions for the HTML and CSS. I guess this HTML and CSS would be the next upcoming session. Okay, is today's class clear to everyone, or any doubts are there?
No, ma'am.
So that's it for today's session class. You'll get your assignments from your mentors, or in case if you have any doubts, you can always reach out to me on the web development doubt solving group, or if you have any doubts regarding, yeah, come. What is the
Please
doubt?
show last code of .parallax.
Yeah, I'll show. If you want, I can just paste the entire code also. This is the code. Pasted in
Okay,
chat.
ma'am.
Yeah, and this is the value. These are the important values which I've pasted on top. So like the important values which I mentioned was background size. We have to make sure that we remember what is background size and what are the values to be passed in for background size. Then we have background repeat. So what are the values we pass in background repeat? We have to make sure that we remember this. Then we have background attachment. So we have scrolled, fixed, local, and then we have background position wherein I can pass like center, left, right, anything. So we only have to make sure that we remember these 4 things in our Parallax program, and the rest everything is just normal CSS and HTML. That's it. So class, in case if you have any doubts regarding cloud, or if you have any doubts regarding web development, you can always reach out to me. I'll be happy to assist all of you. So that's it, class, for today's session. Thank you and have a nice evening. Bye.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.